Well, while they're getting the keyboard up, I better tell you a story about little Willie. You ken him and his wife, Betty, they were getting on in life. And they were a Fairman couple, and you ken the passion was all over a wee bit. You ken, and Willie was razzmatazzed up, you ken, files, but nothing was happening. So he thought, if I'm going to do, he says, if I get a good price for my stots, he says, at the mart today, he says, I'm getting into your new shopping centre at Aberdeen and buy a slinky new see-through gown to the wife. Very nice. Well, Willie got a cracking price for his beasts at the mart, you see. So he's in our Land Rover, he was covered in charring for heat to fit. So he drives right into that new Union Square in Aberdeen, never been near it afore, you see, and rakes about until he got into your fancy lingerie shops, you see. You can imagine just a fish out of water, Willie going in with the dungarees and the Charney beats. So in he goes and he says, now McQueen, he says, I'm in needing a fancy frock for a wife, but he says, you can, we're wearing on in years and she hasn't really got the figure that she used to have. He says, you see, she wears Tupperware knickers and a Tupperware knickers, he says, and a sheepdog bra. She says, I beg your pardon, sir. Tupperware knickers, he says, they do nothing for her figure, he says, but they keep what she has fresh. And she says, sir, can you explain the sheepdog bra to me? He says, it rounds him up and pints him in the right direction, he says. So, well, she says, if you're looking for a very slinky see-through negligee, she says, they're rather expensive, sir. But he says, that's all right. He says, I got a grand price for my stots today. He says, I've plenty of cash. So she took out the first in, opened the box, and he rubbed the material. She says, it's £150. He says, it's far too thick. He says, I'm looking for something a bit thinner. So she took Duna's fancy box, designer label from Paris, and she opened the box. Well, it was as thin, you could hardly see the material, you see. He says, that's exactly what I'm needing. She says, it's £500, sir. He says, wrap it up. He says, we're needing a bit of passion. So he's in our Land Rover and I walk back to the farm, you see. So Jeannie, she's sitting in front of the fire and he throws a box to her, you see. And he says, now go on, try on that slinky see-through negligee. He says, it was £500. He says, and see if we get on. Well, she got a walk upstairs to try it on. Well, when she opened the box and saw it, she thought, they'll feel, he'll never ken if I've got this on or off. It's as thin. I'll go down with nothing on, and if he doesn't ken the difference, I'll go back and get the money back and keep it to myself. So down she went, not a stitch on, and she got tripping out of the living room floor. She says, well, Willie, what do you think, damned, he says, for £500, they might again to rub out with the iron. There you go.